Hi, my name is Genevieve. Thank you for joining me for the second tutorial on Understanding by Design Stage 2 template. If you have not viewed the first tutorial, please locate the previous video. From the first unit, we learned that Understanding by Design is a framework created by Wiggins and McTighe that promotes deep understanding. Deep understanding focuses not just on information recall, but also the individual transfer of learned concepts in novel situations. Stage 1 of Understanding by Design focused on creating the course unit summary and identifying its big picture. In Stage 2, the focus provides evidence of deep understanding that aligns with the goals and big idea emphasized in Phase 1. In this stage, we will design performance tasks that demonstrate a deep understanding of the unit content. It is important to note that not all course material can be expected to promote deep understanding and learning transfer. Therefore, such learning material will be assessed using a more standardized testing tools, such as quizzes and prompts that typically rely on basic recall. Finally, in the last part of Stage 2, we will explore rubrics to promote student and instructor assessment. The first part of Stage 2 examines performance tasks, as you can see on the template. The performance tasks focus on assignments that require students to demonstrate deep understanding and learning transfer. The performance tasks should meet the following criteria. The performance objectives should be completed by the learner independently and applied to novel conditions. The performance task should be formed by at least one or more of the 6 facets of understanding. We know from Stage 1 that tasks that can be applied to novel situations are known as transfer goals. The following are the 6 facets of understanding. Number 1, explain. The student provides critical ideas of the learning concept in their own words and may be able to connect or relate it to a variety of situations. Number 2, interpretation. The student can provide implication of the learning concept and demonstrating how it relates to the learner. Number 3, application. The student can provide evidence of how and when we use the learning concept. Number 4, perspective. The student can provide various viewpoints of the learning concept, describe limitations, as well as strengths and weaknesses. Number 5, empathy. The learner can provide evidence of what it would be like to be in someone else's shoes. Number 6, self-knowledge, is based on metacognition, where the learner explores personal limitation and views on the learning concept. A course designer needs to remember not to fall victim to the following fallacies of the 6 facets of understanding. The 6 facets are not ranked in order of significance. Additionally, a course designer does not need to use all 6 elements when providing evidence of deep understanding. Instead, the designer should select the most appropriate aspect to provide proof of enduring understanding. For example, showing empathy may not be relevant when demonstrating an understanding of a mathematical theory. In the first column of the performance task, the unit designer will enter all of the associated transfer goals and meaning goals. These goals and codes were identified in Stage 1 of our UbD template. To revisit the transfer meaning goals in more detail, please refer to the first video in this workshop. By linking the transfer meaning goals to the performance task, the course designer can ensure they're staying relevant to their unit's big ideas and goals. Finally, evaluative criteria focuses on assessment of the criteria needed to evaluate the desired outcomes. The evaluative criteria are based on the 4 types of criteria. Impact: was the preferred outcome achieved? Content: did the task demonstrate appropriate understandings? Quality: was the student's work organized and polished and processed? Did the task demonstrate efficiency and a sound process? The evaluative criteria can be written in a question format and can be the foundation of developing the unit rubric discussed at the end of this workshop. As we just discussed at the start of this video, not all course information can promote deep understanding. Therefore, it is not appropriate for such material to be assessed through performance tasks. However, it is essential for the course designer to identify concepts that are significant to have basic knowledge and skills, but does not necessarily require learning transfer. These types of learning content are defined under the Other Evidence column. Simplified exercises will examine course material listed in the Other Evidence column. For example, select an answer, basic fill in the blank, and solving simple computations. The desired results code will list all the meaning and transfer goals with the skills and knowledge goals. Finally, the Other Evidence Evaluative Criteria column is where you will identify how you will assess the other evidence, and you will recognize the important qualities. For example, in the discipline of appreciative advising, you may want the learner to recall the 6 elements of appreciative advising through a basic quiz. In the last part of the UbD Stage 2 template, we focus on creating a grading rubric. Grading rubrics typically follow a variety of types from holistic versus analytic rubrics. Holistic rubrics are the most common rubric format, but cannot provide specific feedback on the learner's strengths and weaknesses because the student gets a summative score. However, an analytical rubric breaks down the assessment into several criteria where the learner is scored separately on each standard. Example criteria for a persuasive essay could be the following. Is the essay persuasive? Is it clear? Is it thorough? And finally, is it polished? In this template, the rubric is scored based on the following ranges: exemplary, sufficient, needs revision, and no evidence. This type of rubric allows the student to see where their specific strengths and weaknesses are. For instance, a persuasive essay may score high on the persuasive standard, but have several grammatical errors and receive a lower score on the polished criteria. That concludes the end of the Stage 2 of the UbD template. Thank you for taking the time to view this video.